And now what we're going to do today is go ahead and mark our center line on the top of the tank. And then from there, we'll mark the lines for our doors, cut our doors out. We'll cut out the section where the firebox goes, and then we'll put a starter hole for the collector. But those are the steps that we got to do now that we've got the top part of that tank ground out. And then since this is going to be a passenger side, we always got to make sure that we cut the doors and the firebox hole from the right side, from the correct side of the tank. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'll kind of show you a little bit here and there, but let's get this tank ready because we got to send it to sandblast by the end of the day or tomorrow morning. So check it out, let me show you. Got all the markings on the tank, right? So obviously we got the markings for the doors. So basically what we do is we put in a center punch right here, right? At the very top dead center. And then from there on the 250s, we go down 4 inches. That's the rule that we use here. So from top dead center, 4 inches. This is a 24-inch door. It gives you, now this space between here, which is what we call your center pillar, this will give you a variance. You know, it could be anywhere from like 4.5 to 5.5 inches, maybe 6 inches. The tanks aren't exactly perfect. So what we've noticed is that if you at least cut a 24-inch door, you'll always have enough room here for your gauge to put in here without it, you know, encroaching into the edges of the door. But that'll give you your baseline, 4.5 to 6 inches. Is what you're always going to have, but that way your doors always stay at 24 inches. And then from the weld seam, we do come off 4 inches here, and then right here we just go at 0 level, and that's going to be the bottom of your door. And then on the inside, from there we put the strap. So that's how we mark it right there. And then if you saw in the time lapse, we go ahead and marked the section that we cut for the firebox. We go 3/4 of the way, take that whole end cap off. Right, measure that out, 2 inches off the weld seam over here, and then moving to the front. I'm just marking roughly where the center of this tank is horizontally, right, from left to right, where the center is, because this is where our collector goes. So I got a little mark here and a little mark there, and then our collector goes right in there. So we're just gonna cut a small hole within these lines right here so we don't go over the area where our collector's at. We're just gonna cut a small hole here. That's a little breather hole so we can cut everything else out, and then we go from there. I do a little inside door treatment first. So what we got to do inside the tank is we just have to hit it with the wire wheel, about 4 little, 8 areas that we need to put in some, we put in some 3/8 square solid bar, and that kind of stabilizes the door, keeping it from popping too much. Of course, we still have to play with it once the door comes out, but this at least, you know, gives us a head start. So we got to go in there, grind out a couple of spots. It's easy to see where you need to grind it because obviously your door is already cut out, so we see the lines in there. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll go ahead and get our solid square bar, and then we'll get it pre-cut so we can go in there and get some light, and then we'll just clean that out really fast. Okay, so doors are braced. We can go ahead and finish notching them. Or there's like little bitty corners that we left intact. We're gonna go ahead and finish cutting those. Pop these doors out, clean them off, start getting them ready, get the strapping and all that, and get this tank ready for sandblast. Okay, now we can get the doors down. Twofer.